The dog that would not stop barking and how I got him to stop, by user living in weird times. My neighbors got a dog about 3 years ago. These neighbors and I share a fence. It separates our backyards. Well, this dog snarls and barks and tries to bite me through the fence the entire time I'm out in the backyard. I've tried to ignore it, talk softly, etc., but this dog is insane. The maintenance guys are afraid of it. So I went and did the neighborly thing and asked them to help me figure out how to get this dog to chill. I can't even use my yard at this point. That dog is outside all day long, snarling and yapping non-stop. I asked if I could give it healthy treats through the fence. Owner says no. I asked if we could go in halves on a non-shock bark collar. Owner says no. Edit to say I asked the neighbor at least 3 times to help her dog. Frustrated but not willing to call animal control or anything yet, I hatched a plan. I bought a very nice portable speaker that is loud. I saved and invested in this. Now, every time I go to my backyard, I bring my speaker. There is no daytime noise ordinance here, I checked. When the dog begins its snarling, barking, attacking the fence thing, my neighbors, all of them, get to enjoy a little Lamb of God or Rotting Christ or some other great music turned all the way up. My speaker shakes the table. It didn't take the neighbors long to put 2 and 2 together. The dog is now kept mostly inside, and when it does come out, it's quick or the owner goes out with it. Mwahahaha. The neighborhood is wonderfully quiet nowadays. Edit some grammar errors. Edit again, PSA: do not give dogs any type of human medication like laxatives or NyQuil. This can seriously harm and even kill an animal. Also, the speaker is a portable PA system from JYX, if anyone is interested. It was under $200, but I'm poor so I had to save for a bit. It sounds great for the money, though. I'm impressed and so are my neighbors. Math teacher won't give me 100%. Okay, how about 51%? By user Latimer 555. Happened a decade ago in grade 10 math. I am quite good at math in my life, always grasped it very quickly, with high 90s as my average. I failed English, which I thought was impossible. Anyways, my teacher was always on our cases about his teaching ability, and no student ever left his class with less than 60-some%, how his methods could teach anyone. Anyways, he had a habit of adding a bonus question every unit test, with each test being worth 10% of final grade and the final worth 40%. After so many weeks and exams, we were coming up on the first report card and I had gotten over 100% on every test, so when I opened the card I was less than zealous about my mark being 99.9%. When I approached him, he said that he couldn't hand out a perfect 100, I asked why and he stated I can't score something a 0 or a 100, just the way it is. Cue my revenge. I did my math to figure out how to end my class with 50%. I purposely got a 0, which he gave me, on every unit exam after, and made sure to only answer 23 questions on my final. He throughout this ordeal told me I was being foolish and it would only affect my own future, to which I replied repeatedly it would also affect his precious record. It was right before the final that the vice principal and the teacher called me in to have a talk about my conduct. I explained the thorn that started it all. The teacher went on to say I was damaging my future, and all the vice principal said after it all was you should have given him the 100. I ended up with a 51 final grade, which was enough for me to get 2 trades and make more money than him and ensure myself a comfortable future. I have to come into class for a test? See how that plays out, by user dajoke69420. So years ago in my first year of high school, I had a crush on a guy, we'll call him H. H was nerdy, but cute in my adolescent eyes. Fast forward a year or two and it's junior year. We're friends, but nothing romantic. We had physics together as our first class of the day. I wake up in the morning, and I know I'm sick. I got the burning eyes, the cold sweats, everything. My mom gives me permission to stay home, and I gladly accept. My plan was just to come in late when I felt better. A few minutes after our first class starts, I get a text from H. He says we have a test, and anyone who isn't there automatically gets an F. I panic and haul myself to school with a note excusing my late arrival. There was no test. H was just trying to fuck with me. He even laughed at me. Cue the revenge. I came into class with a damn fever, so petty revenge was obviously in order. My parents and I had done a white elephant gift exchange a year ago, so I had the most random thing in my possession, a car paint marker. I was out for blood, but didn't want H to know. I was calm around him although distant. Fast forward a few days. I had a parking spot in the school lot that is less monitored. It was generally used for senior students, and most of them were allowed to leave school early. I took advantage of this, and used my "I need to run to my car" excuse and ran out there. He parked in the same lot, just closer to the road that the buses drove by. I took that damn marker and wrote his own number all over his car. I didn't cover the windshield or back glass, but almost every other part was covered. I knew that the buses would drive by with 40+ kids on each. We had upwards of 4,000 kids at our school, probably 1/3 rode the bus. So a bunch of kids, and what else do you do on the bus if not stare out the window? I wrote all sorts of call me, text me sorta stuff. He needed to pay. The next day, he confronted me, and I played dumb. "What are you talking about, H?" I think he knows it was me, but I never confirmed it. Until now. He probably goes on Reddit, so maybe this is my confession. If H sees this. Fuck you. Make me stay late? I'll be an inconvenience to your Friday night, by user Peanut. I am a senior in college, and I am currently taking a statistics course with a lab. For this lab, we each had to pay a $200 technology fee to be able to use the computers, but there are only 30 computers and 60 students. My lab teaching assistant is awful. She's on a power trip all of the time. The first lab we went to, she made all of us stay late just so she could go around and individually watch us print because she didn't trust us to do so on our own. Some important backstory here: my lab ta hates getting emails. She always makes us print because of this, despite the lack of computers. She says she doesn't want to receive 60 individual emails each lab. During our second lab this semester, we had a section in which we had to print out a page of graphs. Our head teaching assistant said one graph page per group was fine since there was only one printer, and half of us didn't have computers. However, at the end of the lab, the bad teaching assistant stated this was not okay with her, and we would have to print out another copy for my lab partner. I informed her my lab partner, along with half of the class, had already left, and she told me to figure out how to get a graph submitted for my lab partner, or I would lose points on my grade. So, being the studious senior I am, I sent a message to our group chat of 60 students saying, "Hey guys! Teaching assistant's name really needs everyone to email a copy of your graphs to her today, even if you already printed." She said she needs a copy from everyone and it must be done today. If you don't send it, you may lose points on your lab. She received 60 separate emails that night. I often laugh thinking about how confused and angry it made her. A week later, we got an email saying she had been fired for her mistreatment of students. Laundry Feud, by user Peach Bellinis. I lived in apartment complex with a communal laundry room. I was taking my sheets out of the dryer and pulled out what appeared to be someone else's clip-on hood to a puffy winter jacket. It was very unlikely that this was just accidentally left in the dryer before I used it, but I figured anything was possible, so I put it to the side to leave for its owner. Just as I was about to leave, I noticed another girl had pulled out a scarf and gloves from her dryers that she put to the side as well. I put 2 and 2 together and realized this person purposely put a piece of their laundry in different people's dryers to make it look like it was just straggler items left behind so that people would just toss it to the side, letting them get free laundry. I find it completely gross and invasive to purposefully touch other people's laundry. So I took the clip-on hood back as my compensation. I mean, they wanted me to have it since they put it with my belongings, right?